Hello, friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind GodUpdates and God2, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
Daughter kept it real when writing her father's obituary, and her funny tribute went viral. Written by Mel Johnson, read by Adam State. When writing her father's obituary, Halliea Milner decided to honor her dad with humor and honesty. The result? A hilarious and one-of-a-kind tribute to Kenneth, Pluhar. Obituaries can be tricky. Though we wish to fondly remember our loved ones, sometimes these eulogies can become formal and stuffy. Other times, they can be so sugar-coated they don't actually sound like the person we knew at all. That's a mistake Halliea wasn't going to make when writing her father's obituary. So when Kenne Pluhar of Illinois died at the age of 62 after battling sepsis, his daughter set out to capture the true spirit of her dad. She kept it real and sarcastic in this unique obituary. And though I don't personally know Kenne, I'd imagine he'd be pretty proud of his daughter and what she wrote. Halliea and Kenne were very close, but Halliea fully recognized not everyone was as familiar as she was with his softer side. We were great friends, she recalled. He was more stern with other people, but a very caring father. Halliea didn't solely focus on her dad's best attributes. She made sure to include plenty of her father's quirks in obituary too. After 50 years of crap starting with everyone and everything he could find to fight, this hard-as-nails redneck SOB finally found something meaner and more stubborn than himself, she said of his death. Halliea struck the perfect balance between paying tribute to her dad as well as roasting him. Like every sad cowboy song, he couldn't stay married, she wrote, but that didn't keep him from trying. Again and again. He had a total of 4 legal marriages and divorces, and 1 common law marriage under his belt that we know of. As Kenne's only child, Halliea went on to explain in her father's obituary how her dad was extremely proud of her, mostly because she was almost as big a pain as he was. From first to last, Halliea described how all of Kenne's siblings loved him till the end, which is a miracle seeing as he took the idea of being hard to love as a personal challenge. She went on to say, he is also survived by a plethora of nieces and nephews that he terrorized and traumatized in countless and original manners. Truly, it was survivorship when it came to Uncle Kenne. Halliea explained that Kenne was good at just about anything he tried to be good at, and was wicked smart. But that didn't stop him from trying his best to do absolutely nothing except drink, smoke, and listen to music. And as a special tribute to Kenneth, his daughter explained the family would celebrate his life in a way he would have appreciated, with a party. Doors open at 5:30. There will be food and beer that you don't have to pay for, Kenne's favorite, at 6, and people will start talking crap about Kenne and his life around 7. Although there will be music and mayhem, don't plan to stay too long. We are going to kick you out at 10 p.m. Relationships are complex, as are individual personalities. And in her father's obituary, Halliea penned a one-of-a-kind tribute, presenting an authentic version of who her dad was in life. It showed a man who wasn't perfect, but who was deeply loved and would be missed despite his flaws. And ultimately, that's what love is all about. That's what the Father's love looks like for us. He sees us in both our best and worst moments. He knows us completely, the good and the bad, and loves us still. And the love of God was made clear to us when He sent His only Son into the world so that we might have life through Him. And this is love, not that we had love for God, but that He had love for us, and sent His Son to be an offering for our sins. My loved ones, if God has such love for us, it is right for us to have love for one another. 1 John 4:9-11. Viewer can't deny striking resemblance to Stranger from a News Report, written by Haley Wells, read by Adam State. It's hard to know what type of feeling might surface between two brothers reunited after 50 years of living apart. It's difficult to imagine the emotions that might come with such a meeting, but Randy and Edward Waits provided a beautiful example of love and acceptance when these two brothers met for their very first time. Randy, 55, happened to be watching the news from his home in Lodi, California, just a couple months ago. The reporter spoke with a gentleman who made a visit to Lake Tahoe and gotten caught in nasty weather. The man's name appeared on the screen for just a few moments, but it was long enough for Randy to notice that they shared the same last name, a rather unusual one at that. Randy found that curious and mentioned it to his daughter, wondering if there could be any connection. When Randy's daughter, Cambria, took a closer look, she detected a resemblance between her dad and the man on TV. She did a little sleuthing, and within 20 minutes, she had determined that Randy and Eddie shared the same biological father. It wasn't long before Randy reached out to Eddie, 54, who lives in Anaheim, California. Eddie was convinced that the unlikely story was true as soon as he saw a picture of Randy, noticing how much Randy looked like their father. Randy never knew the father that he and Eddie share, because Donald E. Waits left his mother and him when he was an infant. Eddie, however, was raised by their dad and enjoyed a great relationship with them. That fact could cause problems for these long-lost brothers, but it did not. The brothers reunited after 50 years and are thrilled to have found one another. Eddie has always wanted an older brother, and Randy now has the opportunity to learn about his biological father and extended family. Their father, Donald Waits, died in 2009. Eddie apologized to Randy on behalf of their father, but Randy holds no resentment. Randy told the Washington Post that he doesn't blame anyone. I'm beyond that now. I've waited my whole life to know someone like Ed. I just want to be the best brother I can be, and I know he wants to do the same for me. Randy and Eddie have found they share similar interests. Both enjoy riding motorcycles and fishing. Most importantly, both are grateful to have made this unexpected discovery and to have the years ahead to be brothers. Now about your love for one another, we do not need to write to you, for you yourselves have been taught by God to love each other. 1 Thessalonians 4:9.
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.
Hey there, it's Nicole Eunice, host of the How to Study the Bible podcast, where every single week we join together to encounter God through His Word. You can subscribe at lifeaudio.com.